Welcome back to Tarot by the Bay. I'm David. Tonight's reading is going to be on Vivek Ramaswamy. He's a Republican candidate who, during the debates, was basically saying how Trump was the greatest president ever and blah, blah, blah. Basically, just throwing out all the talking points that the MAGA crowd likes to hear. Chris Christie made a comment during the debates that that's not what you said in your book. And Ramaswamy said, yeah, I said Trump was great. No, I actually didn't. In looking at the CNN article on that one, no, Ramaswamy basically criticized Trump as being weak and that his arguments that the election was stolen were weak and so on and so forth. So he was reading the room like the rest of them were, and he was just parroting things that they wanted to hear so that he would gain in popularity on that one. This guy's also kind of a dirtbag. He bought a drug off of GSK that had failed in clinical trials and managed to, I guess his mom was a doctor, and he got his mom on the board that looked at like this phase 2 clinical trial, and they changed some parameters around and eliminated some people from the trial, and now all of a sudden the drug showed efficacy and went into phase 3 trials, and then he had like an IPO or something like that and raised a bunch of money, and then it inevitably failed phase 3 trials. By the way, GSK, if I'm not mistaken, it was GSK's drug. They had tried 4 different times in clinical trials to get it to work, and it didn't work on any of them. So the fact that Ramaswamy's fifth go at it was a failure is not really a shock to anyone. But he had changed the name of the company, changed the name of the drug. It was an Alzheimer's drug. And so the guy's he's a dirtbag. He's just a dirtbag. Okay, so, entertainment purposes only. Ramaswamy, what can you tell me about his current situation around him with his... we'll focus on the run for the president, but what's the current situation around him? What can you tell me about this guy? Okay, so 2 of Cups. He is trying to establish relationships, agreements, partnerships, and such. It could be business related, but since this is kind of in the realm of political speak, he's trying to. I think what it is, he's trying to connect with the audience. He's trying to connect with the MAGA folks to tell them what they want to hear, so that they support him, either as a presidential candidate or as Trump's VP. And I'll do that as a follow-up question, so you'll get that one as well. Crossed with the star. Okay, so he thinks very highly of himself. And he... For lack of a better description, this guy, I think he probably has some pretty good social skills. He's well educated, he's well spoken, and he's full of himself. Arrogant. Young, brash, arrogant. And he's got money, but he's willing to do whatever it takes to get that money. Queen of Swords. I don't know if it's a harsh... Yeah, I think the Queen of Swords is also describing kind of his decision making. He makes decisions and there's no empathy behind them. It's just whatever is best probably for him. So he's going to have that narcissism too. Just everything that we've come to expect. Everything that he kind of portrays that he is, that's who he is. In the past, King of Pentacles, he made his money again off of this pharmaceutical company. Rumor has it that his family and friends sold their shares before the data from the phase 3 trial was let go, so that when the stock lost 99.9% of its value, his family made their money. Again, I think I saw that on TikTok, so take that with a grain of salt. I haven't done that research on it, but he's got money. He's made money that way, and he is trying to stylize himself in the style of Trump. Current situation, he's trying to court those MAGA voters so that he can continue. He enjoyed the debate. He did well in the debate. He wants to get the Republican nomination, and he'll do what it takes to get accepted in that circle, because I think he realizes that there's a lot of money to be made in government if you're somebody like this guy, shall we say. Overarching energy is the Page of Cups. He's going to have unusual ideas, unusual ways of looking at things. Part of this is that deception of his, where he said he wrote things in his book about Trump, but then he says something completely different, and when he's called out on it, he denies it. He does whatever is better for him in that situation, which is exactly what Trump does. He just reads the room, and then whatever he thinks the room wants to hear, that's his new opinion on things. And if you point out there's a fish in his cup, he says he has no idea what you're talking about. There's never been a fish in that cup. The lesson to be learned, though, this is going to be a burdensome thing to do when you're constantly contradicting yourself. Trump gets a special pass at contradicting himself because he leads a cult. And they will grant him that. This guy doesn't lead a cult. So that's why Chris Christie and Nikki Haley just absolutely hammered him, because he's not going to have that following from the MAGA crowd. The MAGA crowd's not going to say, oh, if Donald Trump's in jail, we want this guy instead. They want their boy, Donald. They don't want this guy. So he's got a lot of work to do if he thinks he can get it. Outcome is the Page of Pentacles. He might be reduced in money and in influence by the time this is all said and done. He's not going to get the presidential nomination from the GOP. He'll be lucky. He's probably going to be one of the earlier ones to drop out because he just doesn't have the influence that the king has. So he's going to be reduced. That's my thoughts on it. So he'll just go out and go make some more money or steal some more money. Maybe there'll be court cases that come his way that call to question what he did, and then he has to answer those court cases. I don't know if that's a thing that's going to happen or not. I don't know if the government's looking into him on what he did with that company. It certainly seems unethical at best, and criminal might be another way to put it, but I'm not reading on criminal cases with him. I'm reading on political cases with him. Now, I'm going to just throw a quick little four-carder. What do the MAGA crowd think of him currently? Should I say the MAGA crowd or the Republicans? He's playing to the MAGA crowd. He is really trying to play to the MAGA crowd. I think, generally speaking, your rank and file GOP members, they're going to want Nikki Haley. They're going to want Chris Christie types. The MAGA crowds are going to go for Trump. They're going to go for DeSantis, and they're going to go for Ramaswamy. So you can see how the how the kids are going to pull out. And I don't think many people want Pence. He's doing better than Christie, but all right. How's he doing with the MAGA crowd? They think he's all right. They're not going to lose any sleep over him. They might be thinking, okay, they'll take a wait and see attitude. So he's going to try and project strength. He's really going after them. He's going to go after them strongly, especially if Donald Trump is, put on ice. He's going to try and say things that stir their emotions, project strength that they like, but he has to last long enough that he's not out of the campaign for this to happen. You know what I mean? If he runs out of money and he runs out of, he's just not doing well, like by Super Tuesday, his campaign's going to be in really big trouble. And all you're doing at that point is throwing bad money after good. So he has to make a big push in order to get to the MAGA crowd. And you get to the MAGA crowd by playing on their feelings and being a tough guy. But again, these are that Four of Swords. It's telling me they're not interested. Well, Four of Cups would be more like they're not interested. Four of Swords is they're still riding with their man Donald. This guy's nice. They like him, I'm sure, but they're not going to check the box on his name if Trump's name is on the ballot. You know what I mean? So there was some rumors about, would Trump consider Ramaswamy as a VP candidate? And Trump had very nice things to say about Ramaswamy, I guess not the least of which was Ramaswamy said if he was president, the first thing he would do is issue a pardon to Donald Trump. Day one. Federal pardon for Trump for all his crimes. I'm sure Trump likes him for that if he happens to get it. But let's say Trump gets the nomination. Would Trump consider Ramaswamy as his VP mate? Because he certainly, if the 25th Amendment got invoked, then this guy said he'd pardon him. Then Trump wouldn't even have to be president. He could just get in there, 25th Amendment himself, Ramaswamy pardons him, and then, he doesn't have to be president, and he can go not be a criminal or be arrested. But of course, he wants to be president because he wants to punish everybody that's done him wrong. Would he consider Ramaswamy as a VP running mate? He's leaning towards it. Ramaswamy's currently is in a good position to make his case for Trump, especially if, for in the government. Yeah, okay. So Trump's like, yeah, I'll consider him, especially given that the government's after me. I would consider making him my VP because I know he'll have my back, or he assumes I'll have his back. And he would consider him. It's not like a charity thing per se. It's an insurance plan. Think of it as if he were president again, he's going to grift more money. He's going to go after the people he doesn't like. And then Ramaswamy is an insurance plan of his in case things go sideways. Hermit card in the past. Would he make him a VP? I think this is kind of like, the vetting process. Before he had Mike Pence. And he was told to take Mike Pence. I think Putin told Trump to take Mike Pence. So now Putin may be saying take Ramaswamy, or Trump's got his own people looking at it to figure out who his best VP candidate would be. One of my viewers said I could see Trump not taking a VP. I wouldn't bet against that. I would not bet against that at all. Current situation, 3 of Cups. Trump's going to look for somebody who's popular. I think he's still looking for women to be his VP. But if he can't find a suitable female candidate, then this guy wouldn't be a bad fallback position. But, he's going to want a woman first. Lord knows who he would pick. Laura Ingraham, Ivanka. I don't know who he would pick. But I think he wants to go with the ladies first. Overarching situation, kind of the overall energy though, he's not even really thinking about his VP right now. He's got so much more on his mind than worrying about who his VP is going to be. I can see this scenario where maybe somebody in his campaign, Lord knows, does he even have a campaign? If somebody in his campaign said, Mr. Trump, we need to start thinking about who your VP running mate would be prior to the primary voting, so that people know who the ticket is. And he's like, oh yeah, that's a good idea. We should probably look into that. That sounds like a good plan. Go vet some people and get back to me. And I'll let you know when to get back to me. And then he never lets them know because he doesn't care because he's worried about Georgia. He's worried about January 6th. He's worried about the civil suit from New York. He's less worried about E. Jean Carroll and the Stormy Daniels cases. He's worried about Mar-a-Lago. He's worried about where he's going to go running to hide, what country he's going to go hide in, should he be convicted on the January 6th stuff. His mind isn't in it. His heart isn't in it right now. The overarching energy is the Knight of Swords. Again, thinking about the VP pick, Ramaswamy's going to come in strong, saying, I'm the guy who can save you. I'm the guy who can do this. But Trump is also, he's trying to deal with everything else that he's got going on. He'll probably make an impulsive decision. He won't think, when he chooses his VP, I don't think he's going to think a whole lot about it. He's going to just say, I'll take that person. See, he'll get like a bee in his bonnet, and then he'll wake up one morning and realize that's the person who I need, and then it happens quickly. Outcome, Two of Wands. I think Ramaswamy is looking, he's not getting it. He's looking at his other options. Maybe I'll get a cabinet post, or I'll be the head of a super PAC or something along those lines. Yeah, I don't think Trump's going to pick him. Trump's mind, he's not even worried about her right now, but he wants a woman. If he could get a woman to be his VP. Okay. So get this mixed over. Bring you up. I'm not impressed with this dude. Not impressed at all. Just another dirtbag. What else do I want to know about him? So we asked what he's about. Did I ask him if he'd get the... I think I skipped the... If he'd get the GOP nomination because the answer wasn't yes. So Trump would make him a VP. The answer's no. Yeah, he's... Will he face any consequences for his company that went bankrupt? Will there be any financial or legal consequences for this? A little four-carder, we'll see on that one. I'm just curious. Knight of Wands. Who's that? Is that the government or is that him? Burden. Page of Pentacles. Page of Cups. Oh, these cards came back. These three cards came back up again. Will there be... I don't think so. There may be some investigation that's going on looking into the money. Does he investigate? I think this is just kind of the company. I think this is just talking about his company. He got this drug from another company and he was going to repurpose it. And he had an IPO and said, look at this new drug I have. It's really super wonderful. But there was an impossibility he was ever going to get it to market. And, he rebranded it. He basically fiddled around with things to make it look like it was a panacea. And it just died. Now, this isn't telling me. I don't think he's going to be investigated. It's just telling me about his... He made this plan. Basically, this whole thing with that drug, he mapped it out and he figured he could make a lot of money that way and avoid the consequences. That's what I see happening with that. And it looks like he will avoid consequences with that. It's just yet another thing that's wrong with this world, but this is kind of like one of those C-tier items, B-tier or C-tier items compared with the raging fire that's our rights and democracy, which is the A-tier stuff right now. Okay. So I don't think you need to worry about this guy. Pay him no mind. He's in Linda G's words, he's a nothing burger. Okay. So that's my reading on Vivek Ramaswamy. Thank you for watching this video, and thank you for supporting my channel with your likes and your shares and your comments. I really do appreciate you feeding the YouTube algorithm beast. Thank you for my subscribers for supporting me through my spiritual adventure here, reading tarot cards. Welcome to the new subscribers. Glad you found us. I hope you're finding these readings informative and entertaining, and I'll catch you on the next video. Take care.